You remember when we were talking about the fuck GameStop episode? That was fun.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things we brought up was the fact that GameStop has a less than generous trade-in policy,
They do. It's
and
brand new games. Sometimes are like 30% of their marked value, and then they'll go and sell it for like $5 off. So
yeah, some
it's kind of crazy.
some absolute malarkey, as to use a term that I never use. But
I've heard you use malarkey before.
have I?
You do.
Oh, all right. Well,
It's a
then
term. It's a term that you know, but I think it's when you're trying to be dignified.
yes,
So.
I am. I'm very properly the thing with the thing. But like one of the things that's always struck me is I've known people that have worked at GameStop.
Yeah.
I don't discriminate when it comes to like knowing people, and I hear stories about people that go to GameStop, pull out a game, and they're like, "You're only gonna give me $5," and then they like lose their shit.
And then they still trade it in.
And they still trade it in, or they'll like demand, well, I need 20 because I want to do whatever, and they spaz out, right?
I'm giving you 5 games because I need to get the new Call of Duty.
And the thing I've never understood is, like, why not just leave? Like, you don't want, you know what I mean? Like, just don't trade it in.
Yeah, I mean it's yours. You spent the money to get it in the first place, and then a lot of these boxes and the decorative artwork on it are very nice.
Yeah.
You could frame that and hang it up.
I like my steel books.
If you're not gonna play it anymore, you could do something with it. But people don't choose to.
That's the thing I don't get is like, just leave. Like, you don't have to trade it in. I mean, yes, fuck GameStop. Like,
Yeah.
Forget it. They're horrible.
Right.
But wouldn't that even be more of like, for me, if I'm gonna trade in games, I'm gonna do it either through something where I'm gonna make myself like hate it. Like, I'm gonna go through one of these services where I have to mail in my shit and wait because I know I'm gonna hate it already
For a store credit.
Yeah, because I just don't like going there. But if I was to go there and I'm like, well, I did the thing online and it told me that I'm gonna get $50 for these games, and they go 45, I just as easily go back in my car and leave.
Yeah.
And then I have another reason to say fuck GameStop. Like, but that's the thing. I mean, it always I see it on YouTube where people like lose their shit.
Oh no!
In the middle of what, and they know there's a camera on. Like, you're gonna be on YouTube,
yeah,
spazzing over a $5 worth of trade-in credit,
and then they go nuts. I've seen the videos where they push down that wall of Funko Pops. They're all over the place. They're not in any particular order anyway, so like
let me say this: if you are gonna spaz out in any kind of store, don't push anything over. Don't do that, because you're not really hurting the CEO. He's not gonna come and put those Funko Pops back. It's the fucking 17-year-old kid who this is his first job, and now you're traumatizing this motherfucker for life. That's who you're like doing shit to. So don't do that. Like, what I do is I'll like for certain companies, I'll call them up, and I'll just, on a day that I have nothing to do, I'll think, how much do they pay their people per hour? All right, I'll just have a pleasant conversation with somebody for an hour. What do you pay them? $12? All right, yeah. I took $12 out of that company's pocket today. I wasn't gonna buy nothing. I have unlimited minutes. I'm gonna just call you and just, hey, how's it going? I just had some questions, and be perfectly nice. Here's my thing. It's rocking and rolling. But to circle back, like, I don't understand why people don't just like, don't trade your game. Like, if you know that that's a thing,
don't support that business.
Yeah, just be out.
There was a whole thing in when I was growing up, and GameStop was a thing. GameStop would take a trade in, and then there was this place, the flea market. And I'm dead serious. The flea market gave you better prices. Like, hey, look, I know I can sell this for $40. I'll give you 28 for it. I want to make profit, or whatever. Or I'll give you 30. Like, I know I can sell it for 40 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he would also, like, he would type in something into a computer and he'd be like, oh, I know, I have 12 of these already. Like, I'll take it still, but, like, it's going to be at a reduced value because, like, I haven't sold any of the last time I sold one of these was 2 months ago. So I don't know, like, there's not a high demand for it. So I can't give you as much. And I'm sure GameStop has some sort of system like that too, but it seems a lot harsher there. Whereas this guy, he was just doing his thing.
Yeah. I mean,
And
GameStop's a soul sucking corporation.
and one of the cool things that he did was he's like, hey, look, I will give you $25 in cash or $35 in trade.
Ooh.
So, like, he would bump up the price if you were trading in stuff to get something else from him, as opposed to, like, him just giving you, like, handing you cash.
And, big companies do that also. I mean, including, the Voldemort of games. But they have some dude at the top who's, like, crunching numbers and throwing numbers into different spreadsheets and pulling out tables and actuaries and going.
I'm sure they have a team of accountants.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you get $5, and if you want to do a trade-in, $6. Here you go.
Yeah.
Am I not merciful? So I guess the thing here is, number one, you don't have to do business. Like, just because there's a GameStop in your neighborhood doesn't mean you have to do business with them or that they have to do business with you. You could just part and not interact. And I guess the other thing is, like, find you a smaller, like, independent person that is just trying to get by and will work with you reasonably.
And that's another thing I say, and I say this in general, is like, there's always a game store in your town somewhere that somebody runs. Probably not the best, and it's probably not the nicest. And, like, all of their cartridges and discs don't come with the instructions and a pristine box.
You gotta blow on this disc.
and a pristine box and whatever. But, like, he goes in there and he runs fair business. Support that guy. Whether it's, your board game guy that runs, he runs the board game shop and comic books or video games or whatever. Support that guy. Don't support GameStop.
And the guy who's running the board game or comic book shop, he might be making ends meet, but he's not making, like, GameStop CEO salary.
He's not driving a Lexus.
And he's doing this because he loves it. So when you go in there and you're somebody who is also a fan, you have somebody who you can chat with and,
you can support each other.
Yeah, you build that rapport.
Support his business. Help him get a Lexus.
Yeah, there you go. So this is the End of a Species podcast. I'm Jeff.
I'm Adam.
And the reason that we're talking about this whole thing about, trade-ins and the fact that you don't have to do business with any particular company is because, we put our stuff on a podcast. We have a podcast host, and we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other stuff, right? And we do this for fun. And when people listen and they give us feedback, that's awesome. That's great. We also have a video version of this podcast that goes on YouTube. So End of a Species has a YouTube channel, and we put stuff on there. Now, whether we have 10 people watching or 10 million people watching, that's great and whatever. But this is a hobby. We recognize that.
Yeah.
And YouTube, like, I'm a jerk. When I make the video version, it's really just a still image, and every now and again I'll put something funny over it, like to move around and whatever. But I'll still export it and upload it in 4K. Like, here,
yeah.
YouTube,
here's our 4K blurry images.
Yeah, take this 4K worth of video, because YouTube could take it. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
They're good. They're good for it.
If they're going to allow you to do it,
yeah, go for it.
And there's not a premium for if you want to put 4K on there, it's going to be $1 a month to do that. we wouldn't be putting stuff on there 4K.
No. Nope. You'd be lucky to get something that you can see on a old school CRT.
When you get really close, you see the green, blue, and red squares.
Yep.
Yeah. Those those shits.
If at some point we get to the point, we decide to, I hate this term now, monetize, right? One thing that we can tell you is that we 100% recognize that's not a given. That's not like I'm entering into this thing with YouTube that they now owe me monetization.
Yeah, you didn't sign a contract for a weekly pay stipend to get
Nope.
a certain amount of money per week, regardless of how quality your content is.
Yeah, no. You are like I know that I'm using their super expensive servers that do this ridiculously phenomenal job of displaying my content on screens across the world within moments of me uploading it in whatever aspect ratio the person wants to watch it in
your given chosen fucking font.
Yeah, and and it will scan through and say, like, all the words I'm saying right now, there's a little freaking AI bot that goes through and says, let me type the shit. So if I say, oh, this is oofa doofa, there's a thing that says, what is oofa doofa, and spells it out in the, check it out, turn on the closed caption. I'll bet you oofa doofa is spelled in there.
Yeah.
And they do that part for free. All I'm doing is I'm throwing my mouth sounds into this microphone and then uploading it. That's it. Like, it took me a few minutes to...
They can be well thought out microphone,
Yeah. Like,
mouth sounds.
Like, we took a little bit to write the outline of this. We talked about it. We throw ideas back and forth just to... And that's this season because we're like, let's get a little more...
We'll go a step more professional.
A little more professional instead of just talking shit on the mic for an hour. But, like, it's not a good... there's a whole different, like, I would say it's like a 99-1 effort that ratio that's being put out there.
Yeah,
at least
we're picking up the last 50 feet in the relay race.
Like,
so we did our 10-yard dash, and now we handed off the thing to YouTube, and they're like, "Go make it!" No, awesome.
Yeah, like we're here and. We're how many laps ahead? All I got to do is get to the door.
Yeah.
All right, I got you. So, if you have a channel on YouTube and it gets popular, you can get, like, I've seen some people that can make millions of dollars, which is awesome.
Yeah,
more power to you. Like, if this channel got so, like, if our podcast got so popular that somebody wrote me a check for $2 million, I hope and pray. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I hope you're not used to the sound of my voice. Don't fall in love with it. Because if I get a check for $2 million, they'll be like, yo, they haven't posted an episode in a while. Yeah, we gone. We out. We dipped.
Yeah.
Like, peace. There might be a season 3, but not today. We are gone. Like, yo, they didn't even have a goodbye episode. No, we don't need no goodbye episode. They gave me $2 million. That means we out.
Yeah.
No, but, like, all kidding aside,
well, you
like,
want to make that you make that sound like someone paid you $2 million to stop talking.
Look, if you want to pay me $2 million to stop talking, hey, do it. Don't send the show money. Don't send us money. But if you want to send me $2 million, like if it's $2 million,
yeah, one single payment.
Call me. We'll have a chat. If it's like one lump sum, $2 million. I don't want anybody. We've already talked about this on this show. Like,
we're gonna crowdfund Jeff to not talk.
Yeah, I don't believe in crowdfunding what should be like talking head entertainment. That is, I'm in my house and I just said words. That's not a thing that I feel should be crowdfunded. But some people make a living out of it, but it's not a guaranteed living.
Yeah.
So
and you can choose to not fund that person who's like, I'm gonna sit around in my underwear, you're not gonna see my face, but you're just gonna hear me read a book into the air for 3 hours a day. So
in the same vein as that, you can also, like, if you have X amount of people that are consistently watching you, you can get a sponsorship. You can go out yourself and go, hey, Jax. Oh, you know what? That video game guy. Hey, you want some? The guy who has the independent video game shop.
Yeah.
Hey, you want some advertising? Just give me like $50 a month or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and I will shout out your name to the 10 million people that listen to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like a little bit off, but you get the idea.
Yeah. But or the way things are going, especially with my YouTube viewing versus apparently Raid Shadow Legends is throwing out all kinds of money to everybody.
Yeah. Hey guys, go play Raid Shadow Legends.
This is not an endorsement.
No, don't go play Raid Shadow Legends. Like, we gotta. I don't think we can do enough episodes on these games that you get on your phone and you just spend dough.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
spend some money. Spend some money on a game that's
you got to level 7. Congratulations. That's what you get for free. You want to get to level 8? It'll take you 15 years, or start putting insert coin.
Yeah. Get one of those card swipey things that they use, that plug into the charging port of your phone. And then you can swipe your credit card. Then you can keep playing the game at a reasonable pace.
Consistently.
Yeah.
So, obviously, there's a lot of ways to make money on YouTube. But YouTube is part of Google, which is part of Alphabet, which is... some conglomerate that is super huge, and they're a private business. So whether you like some people swear by Google, like they love Android, they love YouTube, they love the whole family of Alphabet products.
Mm-hmm.
Some people hate it. They're like, Skynet, I hate this. They're getting all my information.
There's been a number of Skynets.
Yeah.
Microsoft was Skynet for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Apple's been Skynet for a while. Google's now the new Skynet because they're the ones that started doing like, hey, we're actually going to have stuff that goes out into the world and drives around and can run you over.
Yep, here you go.
So now they're the thing, but now that's been pursued on to I think Ford's doing Ford and Chevy are both doing driverless vehicles and stuff, and all kinds of people are doing all kinds of different things. There's automated Amazon's another one because they've got a video game studio now. They've got a movie production studio now. They still will deliver your underwear fabric softener to your house in tomorrow.
Like, if I have a hankering for anything,
if you live close enough to a warehouse, you could get it in 2 hours.
Yeah,
like they might just like, Jeff needs more underwear. He needs more softener for his underwear.
Hey Stan, go grab this. Can you bring this over to Jeff's house? He's out of fabric softener again. He likes his clothes really soft.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like,
and they've got those drone things that that will drop your package off. They're like, we knew you needed it. There you go.
They've had the button where you just press it and it orders your shit.
It'll order, like, if stuff you order frequently, like fabric softener, paper towels, toilet paper, you have that button next to the roll holder.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I'm out. Boop. And then the doorbell rings, and then you got toilet paper.
2 hours later, ding dong, here's toilet paper, sir.
Yeah.
But the point is, some people love Google, some people hate Google. That's fine. If you don't like doing business with Google, then don't.
You can choose your version of Skynet to utilize.
You can hate whatever company you hate. You can love whatever company you love. I always find it funny when I see like, which is the best insert gadget here. I skip the story and go right to the comment section because there's people like, you would think they built the thing.
Yeah, you'll find your opinion down there. Because that story is probably an opinion page, and then you'll find the real opinions in the comment section below, where everyone's racially slurring the other person for not liking this knife sharpener.
Yeah, they're hating each other, and like, it doesn't matter. Like they'll completely verbally what is it? Literally, I'll take that term. Sure. Demolish kids. Like, I hope your kids die in a fire. Like, really? Because they don't like
your remote control caddy.
Like, you don't like what this little gadget thing. Like, you could diss Star Wars to my face. I won't diss your kid. Like, come on. Yeah. But because YouTube is a private business.
I might question your parenting skills.
Yeah,
if
like,
you
hey,
if you diss Star Wars, or like, how are you going to raise a kid properly if you hate?
with no knowledge of the Force,
Yeah.
what is that even? You're not even going to test them for midichlorians? Like,
Nope.
what is going on? But YouTube can decide, like, YouTube has a whole department, like all those ads that people get paid that run on their videos. They have a department that goes out and, hey, Charmin, we have a lot of toilet paper references today. I don't know why. Charmin, you want to advertise on here? We have this type of listeners. And
Yeah.
and then Charmin goes, yeah, sure, no problem.
And then the second you say the F word, they're like,
Well-
Charmin's like, nope.
Yep. But that's the thing, though, is like, they go out and they say, hey, company X, Cheerios, you want to advertise? Donald Trump, Joe Biden campaign, you want to advertise on this? Great. Well, those places have people too that are like, well, if my video runs like just like on TV, I don't want to put my advertisement on on an episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. That's not my targeted audience.
Because it's just kids and they don't buy cars, so whatever. So that's the thing that YouTube does. If they wanted tomorrow to just disband their advertising and just be like, you know what, we're really just a video sharing platform like we were when we came out.
We're not paying anybody anymore.
We're not paying nothing. They can do that. They can do that. Goodbye, all your PewDiePies, and it's the only real name that comes to mind right now. Like all the popular YouTubers, I mean, I'm sure they'll land on their feet.
Yeah.
But no more checks because, hey, we're not doing ads no more. We're just, everybody gets YouTube Premium for free. Ad free forever.
Yeah.
Here you go.
You'll get your final checks at the end of the month.
And you're done.
Yeah, and that's it.
If they decided to do that, barring any like contracts that they had with some content creator, because I'm sure there are some content creators that get contracts. They can do that. They can do that just fine. If they decide that, hey, we don't want any videos on our platform that talk about cartoons.
No more toy reviews.
No more toy reviews, done. They can do that.
Yep.
It's their platform. It's not like, whatever. It's just a thing where you put videos. And so they're footing the bill. One of the things that I get really sick of is every single time, like a couple of years ago, it was all the pundit channels, like political opinions.
Oh,
which is important to have outside of mainstream, I think, right? So like
it
outside
is.
of ABC and CBS and whatever, it's important to have some source that's independent.
Yeah, that looks at it at a different way, or just, off to the side and be like, this person's saying this and this person's saying this, but like what both of those aren't saying is it could mean X, and this is why that's bad for you. Whatever.
And so that's important. However, having said that, if I was to launch such a platform or a news network or whatever, part of my business plan would be, how am I going to fund this thing, right? And part of that would be like, hey, YouTube, like if I'm going to make my funding dependent on this company that I have no contract with, I'm just posting videos on there.
Yeah.
I'm going to make, that's a really flimsy thing. That's like saying, I'm not really going to rent any space at the mall. I'm just going to stand outside and sell my little phone cases, right?
I'm gonna walk on with one of those sandwich boards in a backpack and be like, hey, I'm selling this. $20, man, and then you can pull it out of my backpack and you can have one.
There you go. And so like
you'll get chased off by security because you're like, this is private property.
It's not a good business model. So
no, it's not.
So when I see those channels go, hey guys, we got demonetized, and I'm not just talking about news channels. I'm talking about like any kind of channel.
Yeah.
We look, they're and they do that. The funny thing is they do that on a YouTube video. So it's like you're still able to upload. You still have your video on there. You're still using their server space. This time you're using their server space for free. Like you are putting something on there that's using up disk space in many different places. And now it's not even generating money.
Yeah.
So that's even worse for YouTube I would say.
It's like, hey, Jeff, I've got a truck I'm not using. Can I put it in your garage and not compensate you in any way?
In no way, shape, or form.
Completely inconvenience you and for everything. You just now got to work around this truck.
Yesterday, I had the truck in your garage, and every time you walked by the truck, it just spit out Mario coins, and you could turn those in for money. Now, you don't want to monetize my truck anymore, so it's just sitting there. And that's what these channels are doing, and that's the thing I don't get. It's like, look, if you got demonetized and if you got demonetized and your whole business went belly up, well, that's on you. That's 100% on you.
Diversify.
Go find a better business model. Like the fact that like right now, everybody who's on YouTube and has those flimsy business models where they're just there and they get ad revenue, you're running paper routes.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. When somebody else comes with a better truck that throws the newspaper directly on the welcome mat, you're done. You're toast.
Yeah.
So stop running paper routes. That's number one. Number two, if it's a thing where you have crowdfunding and you have sponsorships and you have all this stuff, start understanding that cost of doing business is a thing. Mm-hmm. So if you're sick of how YouTube runs it, then there's a real easy solution to that. Go to GoDaddy, go to Bluehost, go to HostGator, go to some hosting platform, or fuck it, go to Best Buy or Newegg and start buying a server rack.
Yeah.
Like you can really, like if you wanted to, you could host a whole video server platform right out of your house.
Yeah, do it yourself.
It would be expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
And you better have like millions of people ready to just press play on your shit.
Yeah.
Plus, if it's just outside of your house, if the power goes out, nobody can access your shit. So that should start putting it in perspective as to how much of an interest. Now, I'm not saying I'm a fan of Google or YouTube or not. It's just weird. Like you're in this scenario and you can't like, I don't know, just understand that part.
They get locked in is what happens. They get locked in and like, this is the way I've been doing stuff. And they see stuff changing and they're like, what am I supposed to do? They're changing how I got paid. And I lost all these like people that were paying on my site because I said, you know, something bad about a political party, and now Charmin, Hershey's, and General Mills don't want to pay to have their stuff advertised on my channel anymore. YouTube's ruining me. No, you just like you made bad decisions. You built your house on sand, and the tide came in.
Yeah, that's exactly right, 100%. YouTube. And look, you can even say YouTube is such a horrible company, and you might be right. Like, what did I say at the start of this whole episode? Fuck GameStop. But that doesn't change the fact that I have a responsibility too. So if I say fuck GameStop, and then you see me chilling at GameStop talking about like, hey, I was trying to buy games and it's so expensive, and you guys have Funko Pops. You know why I say fuck GameStop? Because I don't fucking go there anymore.
Yeah.
Simple. Now, I'm sure there are other ways that you can make money outside of I made a video and I put it on YouTube. Like I curse a lot on this show, sometimes gratuitously. You know why? Because I know for a fact
one of our catchphrases happens to contain it's 3 words and 33% of it is
expletive.
Yeah.
Straight up. And so like I say that because hey, we're not monetized. We don't have a huge audience, whatever. Yeah. But if it was a difference between, and that's another thing is like some of these channels, they have subject matter that YouTube goes, I don't want to monetize that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter why they don't want to monetize it. They just don't want to. That's fine.
And you can send them a nicely worded letter and be like, hey, you were monetizing me and now you're not. What's up? Mm-hmm. And then they will respond in kind. They will probably drop a legal document on you that's
a copy paste thing.
Yeah, that's a copy paste thing. And like, here, read this. That's why. And then you have to figure it out. But they'll respond, in time.
But
also like I'm sure when you sign up for all that stuff, there's a terms of service that you've got to read
That
through.
you didn't read.
Nobody reads that.
You didn't read that shit.
I can't. You know who read that? My grandfather read that stuff. and I told him, like, hey, yeah, install this and whatever. And then he'd sit there and read the end user license agreement for like Microsoft Word. And I'm like, nobody reads that. And he's like, you got to know what you're expecting to sign up for, because it'll bite you in the butt if you don't pay attention, and it will. And like, if you're basing your business on that, maybe read the end user license agreement or the terms of service or whatever that is.
There's a reason why.
It's your it's your wallet. That's how you live. You gotta know what's going on.
One of the realities of this is, like, there's a reason why your favorite band sounded better when nobody knew about them. There's a reason why your favorite comedian had such great material before they became famous.
Yeah.
There's a reason why, like, shows that were in Britain and nobody heard of come over here, and for the most part, they're like watered down.
Yeah.
And that's because they need to get a huge audience, and they need to be simple, inoffensive, and to the point,
and mass marketable.
And and make it so that there's advertising on it. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why the places that don't do advertising and sell their stuff, like that's where you find the racy stuff, like HBO, Cinemax, Showtime. Mm-hmm. They decided, hey, I don't want part of this advertising nonsense.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sell my stuff to people. So HBO for the longest time did boxing. Yeah, it was legendary. Like, you can find some of the greatest in the past 100 years. You can find some of the greatest fights that all aired on HBO. They don't do boxing anymore. When they stopped doing boxing, everybody was like, what the fuck? Guaranteed it's a business decision.
Yeah.
100%. They're like, well, we're spending this much money here and this much money here. And so
and then they'll look at ratings and they're like, okay, over our mass user basis, how many people are actually watching the match when we play it?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, of our 1 billion people that are watching, only 150,000 are watching boxing. So this isn't profitable for us anymore. So we'll cut it. And then
and that's what happens.
Yeah, and that's all it is. And I'm sure it's not like somebody's like, I hate boxing now or whatever. It's just like, hey, it's not making us money anymore. Switch it to something else. Then they throw on who knows what. Game of Thrones started. I don't know when they stopped doing boxing.
I guarantee you that people at HBO, like, and I use that as an example, but whenever you see like a show get canceled that people liked, and it's like, a cult classic or whatever, they didn't want to get rid of it. It's a business decision.
Yeah.
But even the CEO, he's not in charge. Like, he's in charge, but he's got to be like, oh, well, if I do this, we'll lose this much money. If I do this, we won't lose as much money. I got to make that decision.
Yeah.
It's the same exact thing with YouTube. It's not, it's not something where you are in any way, like, it sucks, but you're not obligated to be monetized. And I think that's the point of this part of the conversation. The second part has to do with...
but nobody owes you anything.
Yeah. 100%. Nobody owes you those, a CPM or any kind of, like, revenue that's going to come in because you did something.
Yeah.
You could call YouTube up and be like, look, I want you to sign a contract with me because I think I'm going to be popular. See how that goes. The second part of this is...
How about you get popular and then we'll talk about
it. The second part of this has to do with freedom of speech. And when it comes to freedom of speech, I hear that a lot. Like, people go on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and they said some stuff, they just spoke their mind one day, and then they log in the next day, and it's like, yeah, your account's gone, buddy. and so then the freedom of speech banner comes out. And, like... They
won't let me talk about what I want to talk about. Like, they don't have to.
Correct.
They are a private business, and they can run that business however they want. And if they don't want their private business associated with the inane ramblings of a mental patient on there screaming about how Hitler was secretly in bed with the Martians and, now controls most of the planet, even though his head's in a jar, like whatever else. Like they're like, yeah, we don't have to listen to this.
Yeah, we don't want this on here. And that's perfectly within their right. You know what's going to happen? What ends up happening is it is a business. So if they overcorrect and they get rid of too many accounts, like they want accounts on there, right?
Yeah.
So if they get rid of too many accounts, then their business gets thrown on the MySpace pile.
Yeah.
Like nobody's using you now, and then we went on to something else.
They want to find that happy medium, but they also like they get a cut. Okay, so like someone advertises on your channel, they get a cut of that. So like, brand X paid $500,000 to have their video shown on X many channels or whatever that they've chosen are viable for who's distributing their content. That, you'll get, 30% of that if, whatever, like after the channels
in
are
a
all
lot of cases after it's 50-50.
I don't know. I'm making up
30% is a good number.
So you get 30% of like however it was divided amongst all the channels that video showed on, and then YouTube will take their cut. They will give you your cut, and then that's it. It doesn't come down to any more of that. But if they see that like all this crazy stuff is happening over here, these people that are putting up that money that in turn pays them, they're not going to lose money because they've got too many, lost souls on there that have no idea what their audience is, screaming about who knows what, trying to be non-specific enough, but like, who like what family, like Johnson & Johnson or whatever, like what family friendly company is going to be like, yeah, the one that talks about Hitler, I want my video over there. Yeah. Like they're not going to want that.
Nope.
They're like, oh, the one that talks about how nice and fluffy puppies are, yeah, we'll put our video over there. That's the one we'll have our advertisements on. But but the one that talks about other stuff and whatever, like, yeah, no, they're going to have some craziness on that. So
ultimately, I don't think that if somebody declines to purchase your speech, it is an infringement of your freedom of speech.
No, it's not.
Yeah, like back in the day when the I guess the amendments were written and all of that, freedom of speech was just being able to tell the government, like, I don't like what you did.
Yeah.
And that's fine, right? And you could do that standing on a soapbox. You could do that with a bullhorn. But you got to bring your own soapbox and you got to bring your own bullhorn. Yeah. And so social media is the soapbox / bullhorn of today. And people can use it, and that's great. But you're not guaranteed to have access to it. Just in the same way, like Twitter tomorrow could decide, yeah, we don't want it anymore.
There'll be a lot of people losing their minds, and they'll have no way to express how they're losing their mind.
I don't even, like recently I went back into social media just to see what it was like. And I really had to discipline myself because so many people are wrong.
Not opinionated. They're just wrong.
No, yeah, like, and I'm saying, like, if you're opinionated is one thing. If you're just factually wrong about what you're saying, it's like, it's almost like a drug that you want to be like, but you're wrong. but you're wrong. And no, it's 9.8 meters per second. Like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And like, I had to discipline myself to say, what did I come in here for? To share pleasantries with people.
Yeah.
So let me stick to that and ignore all the wrongness.
Yeah.
And so like this platform is a way for us to talk about some wrongness.
Yeah.
But if it got taken away, then we could just as easily do it on the phone. Like I could call you up and be like, hey, did you see how wrong brand X was?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, yeah, brand X was wrong. And that is just as good. Like this is just because, why not? Like throw the words that we say out there.
There's so many times though that like, well, not in recent memory, but a long time ago, like I would sit and explain to people like, no, you're wrong and here's why. But a lot of times that person has to be open to the fact that they might be wrong. And a lot of times they don't want to hear that.
Nah.
And then so when you're starting to talk to them, they just scream over the top of you. No matter how much, you're just being like, no, it's all right, relax. I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with being wrong. You're not. I'm like, you're not in trouble. It's just
Yeah.
you had an idea that this was this way, and it's not. And I'm trying to show you how it is. And no, like, and then apparently I'm some evil, necromancer from another planet that just ate their mother, or some nonsense. And I'm like, whoa. No, it's just
no. I'm just telling you. You didn't. Your logic. You forgot to carry the one in your logic.
Yeah, and that's it.
I just pointed that out. That's it. It's not a big deal. Now I'll say this: Twitter couldn't be like, "Hey, Adam, you're Caucasian, so you can't be on Twitter anymore."
Right. Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
Because they can't blanket get rid of all Dominicans from Twitter just because Dominican Republic. We don't.
Yeah. We shut that place down.
Yeah, forget it. But if they say, "Oh, you know what? You posted a picture of your toes. We don't like toe pictures up in here.
Yeah,
we're gonna." Warning number 1 is we're gonna delete your pictures of your toes,
and then send you a worded email that says like, "Hey, we deleted your toe picture. We're trying to remove." Actually, that's a thing on Twitch. Like Twitch has a thing. It's like,
oh, that's right.
There's no nipples, no feet.
Yeah, you can't show your feet on the thing.
So like, and that's a term of service. If you want to use Twitch, you can't have your feet up on there.
So there you go. And there's like, it's not infringing on your freedom of speech. And like, to be honest, for 98 to 99% of the population, I see your feet and I'm like, well, whatever. But just because there's that class that is kind of funky.
Look, if you want to go to stickysaltytoes.com and go look at some salty toes.
I'm tapping out. That was my limit.
Yeah. If you want to see feet, that's where you go.
There's the website.
But not Twitch.
If that's a real website,
I have no idea.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
It will be by the end of this episode. Someone's requesting that domain right now.
Word. Now, here's a fun fact. Like, we did this whole episode, and we talked about you know what? I almost forgot. As far as like we said, you can't ban Dominicans and Caucasians and like just no women or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Being like what your political beliefs are is not one of those classes. Like, so if we're like, we don't want any liberals on here, we don't want any conservatives, no libertarians, then find another spot.
Yeah,
that's how I, we decided we're a conservative based social media group.
Yeah,
have at it.
Yeah. We don't want to be open Sundays.
But we did this whole episode, right? And we didn't, at one point, like talked about all this stuff that, hey, you could get demonetized for this, you get demonetized for that. And we didn't even we didn't even go as far as to like hate speech. We're just talking about the thing here, like in the bounds of, I don't like the topic, but I own the company, so
yeah.
Like you remember when you would have like a treehouse and people would come over to your treehouse. So you and your parent or whatever, you built a treehouse and you got your people coming over,
right?
Or you have a fort, or you have the nicest backyard, so everybody goes to your spot. And you're playing G.I. Joes, and somebody brings Transformers, and you're like, bruh,
yeah,
this ain't Transformers time.
This isn't Transformers Treehouse.
Peace.
Yeah.
That's not like, oh, he infringed on my thing. That's just the thing that happened.
Yeah.
So it's again, if you're a content creator, if you're a user of your social media, just know that there are limits on all of that.
Reserve your own room at the rec center to play Transformers.
Yep.
Because Billy's playing G.I. Joes in his treehouse.
And I will say, I will leave everybody with this. I have yet to find a subreddit about an interest that somebody has that has just one person in it.
Oh no.
So
Yeah.
if you're interested in the diameter of every circle in the universe,
Yeah.
you could start a subreddit for that, and within a week you'll have at least 5 people there that are measuring, circumferences and
This
diameters and
this orange that I ate this morning had a circumference of X, Y, and Z, and its
yep,
diameter was this.
you're gonna
But
see
it
all
wasn't
the
a perfect circle, so I don't know if this counts. And then I just felt like OCD triggered a little bit there. Those OCD people that are like, oh no, it's not a perfect sphere. Oh no, I
but
can't get a proper radius.
but if you did that on Reddit,
Yeah,
right, you would have people that would jump in and be like, Archimedes, just throw it in water and you'll
yeah,
see this and blah blah blah, and that would be a conversation, and that's fine.
yeah,
But if Twitter decided tomorrow, like, yo, I don't want anybody talking about volumes or circumferences or radiuses or nothing.
mm-hmm.
I don't like circles. That's on them. That's their business decision, and you
Yeah,
don't have to legislate it. Just like if YouTube decided that they're going to take half their channels and demonetize them, they're doing just as much damage to themselves, in my opinion.
yeah,
But
that's true.
there's no need to be like, oh, but what about my job? Go get another one.
Yeah,
Period. It'd be the same as if you worked at, a restaurant and then that restaurant went out of business. But what about my money? You don't hear nobody saying
yeah.
that. They're like, oh crap, I lost my job.
Yeah,
Now I got to go find another one.
mm-hmm.
And that's the whole point.
Yeah,
So if you want to argue with me about this, you can find me at Zeus and Jeff on Twitter. I believe it's also at Zeus and Jeff
on
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
It is, because that's where I'm friended you there at. And I am at Tatooine Hermit on Instagram. Still working on maybe a Twitter or something. I don't know. I have low ambition for that for that kind of
Hey,
thing.
I don't even bring it up. Like, if you want to, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. There's a lot of crazy people on Twitter.
Yeah.
If I had the button, it'd be like canceled.
But well, it's another story. But there's a lot of people that are on there. They're in like a large political scene. It's like, you're just inciting nonsense. You're giving power to the wink-minded. like, but he said it. He said it, and he's in office. And I'm like, that doesn't mean he's right. So, anyway, she. I'm not. Whatever. Anyway, yes. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please give us your attention and share us with others. Yes, we appreciate that. So, yeah, I'm Adam at Tatooine Hermit. I think, I said that, and on Instagram. And thank you for spending some time with us. It was a good time. Deuces.